Anybody have any thoughts of what they want to talk about in Mastermind about today?
Yeah, I'm just curious what everyone's like favorite prospecting method is, or like their go-to. I'm just curious what everyone is doing to prospect.
Good. That's a good question, especially right now as we get set up for next year. So I'm going to open that up to everybody. What's your favorite prospecting method?
Open house for me.
Everybody who's been on here before kind of knows what I do. I'm more of a social media, so it's not the aggressive go get them way, but it's sustained me so far, and I think it continues to build and get better. So definitely think Brian Eisenhower and all the coaches and stuff, you could cold call all the time, and that is, I admire the people that do that, and they're the guy, they are capping out, and I see it, and but it is your sphere of influence that is like 83% of your sales. So that's just what I've chosen to work on and focus on, and not the most successful, but
yeah,
we're still here.
Can I actually ask about that? Is that like, do you have mostly followers that are your like sphere of influence, right? Like your friend group and family and all that. So do you like, what kind of videos do you record? Because what I find kind of hard with that is that like, I love to share what I'm doing, and then people are excited about that and ask questions. But I almost feel like if I do it too professional, I pretend to cater this audience that sees me as an influencer, which I'm not, like just keeping in mind, that's kind of what I'm struggling with right now, is keeping in mind, like the people that I'm making these videos for, like right now, that's mostly my friends and family. Like I don't have this group of followers that are strangers, right? That I'm trying to like put on this show for.
Right. Yeah, I could definitely do a better job, and Brittany's been working with me as far as kind of putting out more content as far as really like what the market's doing and all that. But I have definitely taken it more of, here's pictures of me and my kids, here's what I'm doing in the community, here I'm volunteering, oh, we're holding this I always wanted to come from a place of contribution. So really just giving back to the community. You want people to know, like, and trust you. So that's kind of what I've focused on. It's led down other paths, like people wanting you to be on their school board and you want them on this other stuff. But that's meaning that they are knowing, liking you, and trusting you, So I could definitely do a better job of it. Maybe it sounds like you're doing is really giving them information and really sounding smart about,
That's exactly, well, that's just, I'm pretty new as an agent, but I've been a real estate investor. So people know that I've been fixing up houses. So I'm trying to just share what I'm doing working on projects, because I just feel like, all of a sudden sharing with my sphere of influence, like all this information on interest rates and stuff would just almost be like I'm putting on this show,
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of that's important, but then also just like, wow, check out this beautiful view of this house I went to today, and showed, and then do a quick little video of the house with a little upbeat music to the background. And I started doing that, and I took some videos yesterday that I'm gonna do, and so just making it more fun. Like I'm going out on, look at these weird things I've found you see at open houses, and it's like little kind of just funny little things that makes them go, oh, I wonder what the next thing she's gonna post, like.
So what percentage of your posts or interactions, like of stuff that you share, would you say is like strictly real estate, and what is more like, like showing your character and what you do and who you are?
I was told by both the coaches and Brian Eisenhower, 80-20 is a good 80% family, friends, fun, and then real estate. And then, but I'm probably more like 90-10 at this point. And so
that's super helpful. I feel like I misunderstood that. And I feel like I've been probably overthinking sharing a lot of real estate stuff, almost making it 50-50, like some of these coaches that you follow, or where it's like 100% just coaching real estate. Yeah. So that's helpful. That it's like 80-20 or 90-10.
Yeah. And that's not my number. That's just kind of what the pros that I look up to are saying.
Yeah.
For me, Valerie is actually the opposite because I am a little bit narcissistic. So I don't really care if people like my content or not, as long as I'm like providing value. So for me, it's actually, if you look at my Facebook page, it's actually 80% real estate and 20% is about my life, because literally I don't have life right now. So it's all about work.
But I mean, so I have friends that started like cosmetic sales, you know, and all of a sudden their Instagram or like their Facebook is 100% that. And I have actively unfollowed their stories because I don't want to see that. I love you as a friend. I'm not like your main source of income. I'm not interested in those products. So I feel like it's important to not, you know.
But I feel like you are providing value. So it's not like, I think like, let's say maybe not 80%, but I feel like 60 or even 70% real estate, because this is your new job right now. And, you know, your friends should know that. And, you know, if they are your friends, they are probably supportive of you. So I don't think they think it like, you know, you are like too much, because they are your friends and you're providing value. So I think it's maybe just in your head, but I don't know. But I'm just saying, I don't think like even 60-70% of real estate, because it just shows them like you're excited about your job. Like if they are your friends, they're gonna be with you no matter what. Those are the real friends, and you know they support you.
Yeah, I know there's definitely more than one way to skin a cat, they say, you know, and so nobody's wrong here for sure. But I have had some friends come tell me, hey, Carlos, can you mute, brother? Oh, I got it. Thanks, brother. Yeah, I've had friends that are just brutally honest with me, tell me like, bro, it's too much, man. Like, you know, you're posting too much about X, you know, real estate. And so they actually unfriended me on, not as a friend, but as my business page, because I was posting too much between the two. So those were my friends. And Adina, you might have more loving friends.
I mean, also like not everyone on social media is your friend, right? Like that's like, those are acquaintances. And if I spam them with, anyways, but I mean, my true friends might not unfollow me, but yeah. But
Yeah, I feel like they're not true friends. They don't really matter. Like if somebody is like not supportive of your business, because you're trying to build your business, I'm trying to build my business. I need to surround myself people who trust me, who supports me, and they are there for me. So I feel like, you know, if those people who are think you're too much, they don't really matter. I mean, that's just my opinion. But
I was just gonna say that, well, you just said it, Luke, but I have a business page, and so I like do all real estate mostly on that. So I figure they can unfollow that or unlike it if they don't want to see it. And then on my real page, I did like the 80-20 rule is great to follow. It's probably more like 90-10 on that one. But also I was gonna say is like what Brittany has been teaching us, like find your niche and kind of like go with that. So it's like, don't unnaturally like, so I used to be in lending, so I might post more on like what interest rates are doing because I understand it. You were investing, so go with that, you know. So anyways, that was my 2 cents.
I'm a lot like Linnell. I've got the 2 pages, the personal page and the business page, and I try to post a couple times a week on the business page, and then what I'll do is I'll share something from my business page onto my personal page, so that number one, I'm showing people I have a business page that they can follow if they want to, and it's usually something that I think is going to be popular, especially among friends. So like, you know, offer accepted, house in escrow, things like that I know my friends are going to cheer me on for. Those are the ones that I put on my personal page.
Good. I love that. And I know for me personally, I've said a few times on different coaching meetings and different platforms and avenues, I've said I have also 2 different accounts on pretty much everything. All of the platforms that I use, I have a personal and a business page. And the thing, just like Emily is saying, is that even if you go that direction, you want to make sure that you're sharing a little bit of each on both. So if it's a business page, you want to still do that 80-20, but you want to have still 20% of that be personal, because people still want to get to know you, even if they just follow you for business. And then if it's a personal page, just like Emily's saying, I do a lot of just sharing here and there, things that I think will be interesting to people. And I do same kind of thing about 80-20, 80% personal, 20% business. Now, I'm not super big on my personal social media. So I actually have to like work at it to do anything on my personal one. So really my business page is where it's at. And I've told people that if I were to start from scratch today, I would just have a personal page and do some personal and some business. So it's totally up to you, totally what you want to do and your preference. And I think that I kind of agree with both of you, Valerie and Adina. I've had people who go into like the multi-level marketing stuff and are like, oh, I'm selling nail polish now, I'm selling wines now, I'm selling this now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, like what else is there? And I think like what Brian was saying in the comments is that, you know, it's a little bit different when you're not selling, when you're not pushing, when you're just saying, hey, look at this amazing view. Isn't this gorgeous? You know, everybody loves real estate. That's the reason why there's a whole network dedicated, HGTV, to real estate and all kinds of stuff. So real estate is definitely something that people are interested in, especially when you do stuff like that. Look at this amazing backyard. Look at this beautiful view. Look at this amazing kitchen, all of that kind of stuff. So don't think that it's constantly, here are the interest rates, here's what's happening in the market. Although I would say, you know, a lot of times people want, when you have people who are your followers, who are your friends, they are going to want to hear from you. And so if you're establishing yourself as the expert and you say, hey, you know, here's the interest rates, what does that mean for you? Do a quick video to say, interest rates just dropped. What does that mean? What does that look like? What can you do? Should you buy now or should you wait? What's your personal take on it? Valerie, you're an investor. So I think for you, just like sharing your journey and being like, look at this house, what a disaster. What would you do? Here's what we're going to do. Here, follow our journey. This is what we've done. I think people want to see that. People love that. And so, yes, you are going to have some people who say, this is not what I'm following you for. Let me mute you or unfollow or whatever. And I think that doesn't really bother me, because even people who are my acquaintances, a lot of people want to see stuff about real estate. So that's my take on it. But social media is definitely something that like you can do what you want to do and have it be completely personalized to you and who you are.
For me, I just want to add one more thing. So for me, actually, TikTok is like very, very happening. So people are actually giving me feedback that they love my videos. So what I do is, you know, when I'm in the open house, I do a tour of the house and outside of the house. People love it. I mean, I'm getting sometimes like over 1,000 views, you know, and I'm getting like from strangers. So for me, actually, probably TikTok is my #1 platform. And I know Brittany's really good on TikTok too. And only on TikTok where I really focused on, I have a personal account and I also have the real estate account, because for me, Facebook and Instagram, I created a business page, but I don't really, there's nothing really happening there because I don't have the built client or audience there yet. So I'm basically just using Facebook, my personal page, for business, and also Instagram too. But on TikTok is like, I really separate the two, and probably that's my #1 platform right now where I got the most hits.
So Valerie, I hope that's helpful for you. I think social media is a huge prospecting method that a lot of people sleep on. And so you want to make sure that you are using it in some way, shape, or form. And we've talked before about how, you know, some coaches are going to tell you you need to post at least once a week. That is absolutely not enough. If you want to use it to be actually something that people see and that's getting to people, you have to be posting at least 3 times a week. And that can be daunting, but that's why you use the social media scheduling kind of stuff. That's why I'm looking into trying to create a smart plan that is just a reminder, maybe once a week or a couple times a week, to actually go in and schedule stuff and then create a video and then, you know, all that kind of stuff, so that it actually pops up as a task for you to be able to go in and do that. So if you're actually using your tasks in command, that will be a helpful tool to just jog your memory to say, oh yeah, let me go on and create this video or schedule this post or whatever you need to do. So if social media is not your thing, 3 times a week feels like a lot.
For
Go ahead,
that,
Emily.
I stockpile content. Like a lot of times I'll go see 3 houses in a day. And so I take video of all 3, but I'll stagger them. And if I haven't shown somebody a house in a while or haven't had a chance to do a video, I'll take one of those ones. So even if I, looked at it 2 weeks ago, nobody knows that. And I'll act like I just saw that today.
Smart. I love that. And I think too, you can use those same videos depending on like your level of interest in this stuff. You could do voiceovers on that kind of thing. And so you could take the same exact video and just talk about a whole new subject. And so, if it's a specific area and you're saying, oh, this area is so great and look at this amazing house, blah, 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 you can take that same exact video and say, okay, now let me tell you about the street that it's on. Let me tell you about what's selling in this area. Let me tell you about what's going on in the, neighborhood. So you can take the same exact video and recycle it and do different things with it. I don't think that it's all about just reaching out to people that you don't know or just, reaching people like, what am I trying to say? It's not about growing your audience only. It's not about, like how many eyeballs are on this, because yes, that's nice. But a lot of times if this is not doing anything, it's like what we call vanity metrics. And so it's about saying, oh, yay, I got a bunch of hits on that, or I got a lot of videos. What it's about is that brand awareness. It's building your credibility, your expertise. So when you go and talk to your clients and they go and find you on social media, they say, oh, they have a lot of videos. They know a lot about this. They're talking about a lot of stuff. They have a lot of followers, and it just builds that credibility. So it's not that you have to have, like 14 million followers. It's that you want to make sure that you're regularly active on it. So even if you have 100 followers, if those people are seeing your content, those people are going to be the ones who say, oh, go and talk to Valerie because she knows what she's talking about. So when somebody comes to them, they're going to be like really pushing you instead of pushing somebody else, or because that's part of how you stay top of mind. Valerie, go ahead.
Yeah, one last thing, and then I'm gonna stop. I think what I'm struggling with is, or like what I feel like some people treat a little weird is that, is social media for you a credibility piece? So you just want to be on top of everyone's minds in your sphere of influence. And then I think it's like you want to be more approachable and, oh yeah, I just walked this house, so interesting. Like you don't want people to unfollow you. You want people to think, oh, Valerie's always doing real estate stuff. That's kind of interesting. But I feel like once you get into I'm making professional videos about interest rate changes, like that's more targeted towards like finding new clients, right? And like new followers. But the only way that would happen on Instagram is because people share your videos, right? Because otherwise you wouldn't get in front of new people. And I guess then I'm kind of wondering, like, is it worth kind of overloading your already like existing friend group for potentially getting new followers, but probably also not? Does that make sense?
I hear what you're saying there, but I also think that number one, you still want to get in front of those people because that's going to help build your credibility. So for people that I know, I've had people come up to me who I know I've known for years, and they say, wow, I can't believe how much you know about real estate because I just post these videos. And so I think it is not just for brand new people, it's for your SOI also, to build that credibility, to show them, yes, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing, that kind of thing. And I would say that the way that the algorithms are working, all platforms are pushing short form video. So Instagram is pushing reels out to people who have never met you, who don't know you. If you're putting hashtags and all that kind of stuff, that helps new people to find you. And so and I would say when we talk about professional videos, like, what do you mean by that? Are you thinking like a paid videographer kind of professional video? Or are you talking about
just like kind of the influencer style video where there's words popping up and smiling?
Yeah. So I mean, like that kind of thing. I think that if you have a video like that, your followers, your SOI is going to say, oh wow, they are like big time now. They're going to start to be like, okay, cool. They know what they're talking about because something is working for them. So I definitely don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think that you're going to get any kind of negative feedback, except for, like I said, you are going to have a few people who say, you know what, this isn't my thing and I'm not interested in this right now. Okay, great. They can move on. And it's going to be a very narrow subset of your followers. But because, like I said, the content that you're posting is mostly very interesting for people. People want to know about real estate. People want to know how to get into real estate. People want to know how to afford it, all of that kind of stuff. And so if you're talking to those people, and especially as an investor, you're just basically going in and sharing your story. Hey, here's how I got in. Like, people are going to say, if she can do it, I want to do it. And so you want to share your story. You want to say, this is how I bought my first investment property. This is what we're doing right now. This is what our plan is for the future. All of those kind of things people want to know, people want to hear. I would say personally, you don't have to share a single interest rate video because that's not your thing. Or if that's not your thing, you don't have to do those. I don't like to get into the nitty gritty of the interest rates. I want to say, what does this mean for you? Like, who cares? How does this impact your life as a buyer or a seller? And so that's what I want to break down. I want to make it like, put it into layman's terms instead of being like, oh, if you buy today and if it's this percentage and you buy next year, blah, blah, blah. No, I want to be able to say the average buyer and seller does not have any idea about this. So let's break it down. So that's the kind of thing I would say for you is you never have to have a video like that if you don't want, and you still want to make sure to get out there in front of your people. Adina, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I want to add one more thing. So basically, when I said I'm narcissistic, I was joking. I don't care about the views also. So whether you said, Brittany, this is true. Like, I know I have a lot of views in TikTok, but my followers is just like 30 or something right now. So it's really low. But what I'm doing the reason why I'm doing this, because I want to show people that I'm working, I'm proactive, I am everywhere. So every time, as we learn from, Brittany and Brian, I want people to think of me as their number one choice of realtor. So that's why it's not about really like narcissism. It's about like showing that you're working. Like, that's my main reason why I'm doing it. And the second thing I want to add, I also have a YouTube channel. There is this person who is like has 1 million followers, and he is like telling you how to like get more followers and subscribers on YouTube. It's a Think Media, whatever. So his name is Sean, and he is saying also with YouTube. So basically, it doesn't matter I'm not saying it doesn't matter what you put out there, but the main thing is you have to press record. So press record meaning by just put the content out there and don't worry about how people receive it. Either they hate it, they don't hate it, they love it. You never know. So I feel like if you're waiting to like just be, oh, I want to put out a perfect video, or, oh, how I'm going to sound, then you're never going to do it. You're just delaying it. That's what I'm thinking. So yeah, that's all.
I totally agree. And I was not like specifically pointing out you. I was just saying in general, the point of it is not to get all of these millions of followers. The point of it is to be on top of mind, like you're saying, for your people. I was talking to Jodi the other day, and she was saying that I think at CommandCon, I wasn't able to go. So if you guys went, you might have heard this, but one of the speakers was saying, it's not your job to control when your buyer is ready to buy. It's your job to make sure that you are top of mind when your buyer decides to be ready. And I love that, because there are so many things that we cannot control. And that's one of the things that I've said from the beginning. Like in the beginning, when you're a new real estate agent, you're going to have a lot of people who you're going to say, hey, I'm a new real estate agent. And, I'm out putting yourself out there. And you're going to find out that they bought a home with somebody else. And you're like, how rude. What the heck? You knew that I was a real estate agent and you chose not to use me. Well, my thing has always been, if they know I'm a real estate agent and they choose not to use me for whatever reason, because they think I'm too new, because they think I'm too close, because a lot of people don't want to mix business with pleasure, or, whatever. They think that, whatever reason they want to use somebody else that is their cousin, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, whatever. That's fine. I don't mind that. What I mind is if they didn't know that I was in real estate, if they didn't know that I would be a good agent for them. I want to make sure that I can control what I can control. And what I can control is putting myself out there, show people I'm working, like you're saying, Adina, and then just making sure that I'm continually putting stuff out there that is going to make me top of mind when they are ready to buy a house. Because it's just like, with cars. We never see a certain kind of car on the road until we decide that we want to buy that car. And then all of a sudden it's everywhere. And that's what we're seeing constantly. And that's what we want to, like our eye is drawn to that. Our mind is drawn to that. Our thoughts are drawn to that. It's the same kind of thing. When you're ready to buy a house, you're not thinking about anything. You're not caring about these real estate agents. It might be like, oh, fun to follow along because you get to see these cool houses, but you're not thinking about using them to help you buy or sell. And then as soon as you're ready to buy, you're like, where are these real estate agents? And if they're nowhere to be found, you're like, wait, who was it again? Because they don't realize until they are ready to buy, you need to make sure that you're top of mind. You need to be right there when they're ready, which is why we talk about, we need to do those quarterly call plans. We have to reach out, the 36 touch. We have to make sure we're reaching out multiple times per month so that at any point in time when they're ready to buy, we are saying, I'm here. They don't have to look too far. I'm right here for them. And I've told you guys, this is not typical of agents. A lot of agents do their transaction and then you never hear from them again. I told you that I worked with agents who, we did their transaction, the one transaction or whatever to sell the house, and I never heard from them again. And here's the thing is that I bought an investment property out of state with somebody, never heard from him again. And then I went to go sell. And even as a real estate agent, because I had some kind of connection with him, I still went back to him and used that same agent. So when you think about that, it's like your past clients are so important, because if they don't have anybody else who they're thinking of, if they have nobody else on their consideration set, even if you never reach out to them, which that is not the point that I'm trying to make, reach out to your people. But even if you never do, a lot of times they still come back to you. So that's one of the things we talk about, that like you have to be that first person that they meet, that first person they talk to. This is why real estate agents or not real estate agents, open houses are super critical, because so often people go with the very first agent that they meet, even if they have a negative interaction. So it's super critical that you make sure that you are face to face with people. So if you meet them over the phone, they say, yes, I'm interested, try and meet either through Zoom or some way that's more than texting. If you find somebody at an open house, make sure you're connecting with them in person. If you find somebody who wants to go look at stuff and they're your S.O.I, make sure you take them to go look at stuff. So my thought for my own personal business is I'm going to go and show them a house for like a day. I'm going to give them a few hours of my day without needing a pre-approval. And then they need to do a pre-approval. They need to do a buyer's consultation, all of that kind of stuff. Because if I require all of that stuff first, they're never going to do it. They're going to say, oh, I just wanted to go see this house. And if I'm saying, well, I need to do a buyer's consultation with you and I need you to talk to a lender and get pre-approved, we all know that so often that doesn't happen and we lose those clients. They just want to get in and see this house. So if I can get in, meet them, be in person, face to face, I'm going to secure that client probably for life. And that's my goal. So anyway, that was kind of a tangent. Carlos, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that analogy of the car. Whenever you see a car, there's multiple cars coming around. Well, I actually use that analogy to my SOI. I tell them, hey, now that we just had this conversation, most likely you're going to be having these conversations with other people in your, your own sphere. He goes, so just think of me. And they're like, basically like, just like a new car, like you're going to be having those conversations over and over with different people. So I use that same analogy.
Yeah, I love that because that is true. And that's one of the things we say that like when somebody just buys a house, they're talking to everybody about that. And they're talking to everybody about, hey, I bought this house and it was so much easier than I thought it would be, and blah, blah, blah. And then their coworkers or their neighbors or their friends or their family are going to say, oh, I was thinking about buying a house too. And if you are that agent, if you're telling them, hey, refer me, like I would love to get a referral from you, then they are going to be thinking, oh, actually, my agent was great. I can refer you to them if you'd like, if you want their phone number. So make sure that, like when these transactions are happening, we tell you that almost like pretty much at like 4 times during the transaction, you want to be having that conversation. Hey, if there's anybody who who's thinking about buying or selling, make sure to give them my number. I'd love to help, because you want to make sure that you are at the forefront of their minds when they're having these conversations. And during a real estate transaction of their own is when they're having these conversations. So I love that. Thank you.
Greg also said to reach out, or in that conversation, tell them, hey, do you mind if I reach out to you 2-3 months from now, just to see if you had anybody with those conversations, So.
And I would change that to not say, do you mind? I would say, hey, I'm going to reach out to you in a couple months to see if you have anyone that you've been having these conversations with, because you don't want to give them the opportunity to say, no, that's okay, I'm not going to be having these conversations. You want to let them know, hey, I'm going to be following up with you, and make it, easy breezy. It doesn't have to be this like awkward thing. Like, I'm going to be following up with you. I hope that's okay. No, just easy. I'm going to follow up with you and I look forward to hearing from you. So
I'm gonna follow up. Not.
Yeah, I'm
all
gonna follow
serious.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow up. Yeah. No, the other thing too is that at that point, after every transaction, I have a smart plan to put every person who has closed a deal, whether it's the buy side or the sell side, on a smart plan that is asking for referrals and asking for a review. So I link a bunch of different places for them to put a review. And then I send it a few times and I say, if you haven't already done a review, I'd love for you to review me on these different sites. You can do it on one site or all of the sites. I would love for you to, do that for me. And who do you know who's thinking of buying or selling? And I send like emails like that. And then I put them on quarterly call plans to make sure that I'm following up with them. I put them on a home anniversary smart plan. So all of this is within a smart plan. So, just systematize the way that you're reaching out and asking for those referrals, because it's so important, especially in the first few months after people have done real estate transactions. Adina, what were you going to say?
I just want to know what is Carlos's secret, because he is like rocking, like he's like doing so many businesses. So, and also I want to hear from Luke and Emily, because they've been doing amazing. So you guys can give us some new agents, some advice and secrets of yours. That would be awesome.
I'm not doing much. I could let somebody else speak.
Don't say you're not doing much. You are doing stuff. So you're doing business. Don't downplay it.
I see it in a WhatsApp, like you're doing, okay, I'm sending this for review. I am closing escrow. What are you talking about, Carlos?
Yeah, I'm in my 3rd transaction. So I'm doing something. Yeah. But
exactly. You're doing something. So tell us what you're doing.
just follow-ups. That's basically what mainly been doing, is just follow-ups. And like I said, those conversations that I'm having is and I'll tell them, hey, I'm gonna come back at you, in a month or 2. But I'm a part-time, so I'm having all these conversations with new coworkers at my work. So that's where I'm trying to get my business from.
Yeah. And for those of you who are part-time or not fully full-time, this should be something that helps spur you on. We always talk about finding that unfair advantage. And oftentimes people who are dual career think, oh, I don't have the time or the energy or whatever to put into this to try and make it full-time. And the reality is that can be your unfair advantage. You're talking to so many people during the day, whereas full-time agents have to actually put themselves out there. You have to plan to be out in the community, to be face-to-face with people. So, like for those of you, I think most of you are full-time agents except for Carlos in this, but it's being recorded, and then those dual career are going to find it. Don't let having another career be an excuse. Let that be something that lights a fire in you and gives you that momentum to push forward. Emily, you have your hand up.
I wanted to know from Carlos, those 3 transactions, were those people SOI? Were they open house? Where did you get those 3 people?
The first one was a dog park. I said that one before, where I met him in a dog park, and then I did follow-ups. He actually ghosted me for a little bit, for like about a month and a half, 2 months. He ghosted me without responding to my text messages, but I still was sending, and then he finally reached out saying he wants to buy. That was one. My second one was S.O.I. My sister's husband's aunt needed to sell because of somebody passed away in the family. And then this third one was I did an open house, and then that open house, I was following up with a guy. We were trying to get him to qualify, but he wasn't able to qualify. But because of my services to him, he told one of his coworkers, or the wife told one of her coworkers, and then the coworker reached out to me saying, "Hey, I heard you're helping so-and-so. Would you be able to help me out? I heard you're doing a great job with them. I would love for you to help me out too." And that's the transaction I'm in right now.
I love that. I love that. And that's from all different kind of places. So it's like SOI, it's meeting people randomly on the street at the dog park, and it is open houses. And that's the thing that for you newer agents, we always tell you, SOI is always and forever going to be the top. It's SOI and referrals. So, like when I say SOI, I'm also talking about, oh, my cousin's sister's husband wanted, has this aunt who is interested in selling. Well, that is a referral, but it started with your SOI. And so that's why we say like 80% of your business in the beginning and forevermore is going to come from your SOI. And so you have got to nurture your SOI. Then the next highest, most prolific lead source is going to be open houses. And so some of you guys have done open houses and you're like, I don't get it. I'm not good at it. I don't like this, blah, blah, blah. And then you get one deal from an open house and you're like, wow, that was amazing. And so open houses are definitely a really good way for you to get leads. And so you want to make sure that you're reaching out to other agents in your office who have listings and ask them if they can hold their houses open. We're seeing so many more open houses these days than we were 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, because things are sitting a little bit longer. And so people are needing to sell and they're wanting to do multiple open houses and they're needing to do multiples. So just reach out to listing agents in your area and get those locked down. Brian, you had a question or you have your hand raised.
Yeah, so I'm glad it's coming back to the open houses because I had a few questions for like Adina and whoever else has done open houses. How do you guys market the open house? Like, do you like door knock the couple of days before, or do you do like Facebook ads, or like how do you guys get people to come to your open house?
So it's funny because I wanted to talk about, I had such a successful open house this Saturday. Like I had around 40 people showing up and I got like 3 possible buyers from it who are like willing to they don't work with an agent. So what I do usually, I do the whole shebang. I create a flyer, right? I create a flyer for printing out, so then I can give it away like on the open house. But I also create a post on Facebook, TikTok, what else? Instagram, everywhere. And then I get to the open house like at least an hour before, and I door knock at least 20 doors, like the neighborhood. And I invite everybody who is available to come to my open house. And usually half of them show up. So that's what I do. And I did like cookies and water in the beginning, but I'm thinking like, the little Brittany is in my head who's saying like, don't spend money until you make money. But yeah, actually the cookies were a big hit. But if you can get like a bunch of water from Costco, that's also good. But mainly I'm just like doing like a big, it seems like a big party. Actually, I'm thinking to get like balloons next time too, because people can see balloons. And also I make sure that the signs are in a perfect place. So you put it in where people see it. Like if it's like, let's say if it's by Highway 1, then you make sure it's kind of dangerous, but put one sign, you know, on the intersection when people are coming from Highway 1. I think that's also really important because you have to be visible. So yeah, I'm just like making my mark that I'm there kind of thing.
I love it. How else do you guys do open houses? Anything else to add about that?
Yeah, so I did one last week, and I did what Adina said. I just door knocked in the little complex. I said, "Hey, I'm having an open house. Just letting you guys know. You know, don't want you to be too surprised if you see a bunch of people in here." And then people were very receptive about it.
And make sure too, you're offering them to come and welcoming them in, because that's neighbors are really good people to come and have those conversations with, because a lot of times they're thinking about selling, or they're thinking about what's my next step, or they might say, hey, I have somebody who has wanted to come into this neighborhood. So it's definitely good to reach out to those neighbors and invite them to come.
I forget to add, like I usually work with the lender. So Tyler, you're in the Central Coast, right, Brian?
No, I'm in Los Angeles.
Okay, so I think Martin, or I don't know who is there, but like from someone from Motive, like, so I've been using Tyler to come with me when he has time. He comes and we do the open houses together, which is great because he can go also door knocking, or I can go door knocking while he is at the house. So when the open house is happening, even though I still like to do it before that. But yeah, so if you can just ask a lender to come with you, and you know, that's really helpful too.
Yeah, and that's also good for safety. We talk about that a lot, that you want to make sure, you know, there's safety in numbers. You want to make sure you're being safe, whether you're male or female, you want to make sure that you're being safe. And so that's one way to do it, is to just bring somebody with you. And a good person to ask to come along is a lender, because, you know, you can ask another agent to come along or something like that. But a lot of times, well, always, if you have another agent to come along, you need to give them some incentive to come. So you want to make sure that they're, you know, like getting half the leads or something like that. So I like to have like a lender, or even like for me, I like to do a family member or somebody who is able to just welcome them in and say hi. But I like to make sure that I have somebody else with me there. Linnell, tell us a little bit about what you were talking about you like to do with the open houses.
Oh, well, I kind of got a lot of practice because it was so hard to sell my house. So I had a few of them. And it was just like, I was going crazy just trying to figure out how to get it out there. But I would just go to all the local Facebook sales pages. Like we have like, you know, like tons of like Central Coast different Facebook marketplaces. And so I would put the flyer in there. Like I just said, the lenders love to create flyers for you because they get to put their information on there also. And that's a good way to save money because they'll print it for you and you can save on that cost of printing. And then like, I know that door knocking is the best way, especially like listening to Brian Eisenhower, like he gave me that, like, no, the neighbors are so nosy. They want to come see how like your house looks on the inside. And so they'll, you know, gonna tell somebody they know that's thinking about moving to your same community. I mean, it's just basically social media is a great place to advertise it. And you being where you're at, you should have tons of sales pages, you know, in the LA area, probably more than we have. So that's about all I have, really.
Yeah, no, that's helpful.
They're quite depressing at times because a couple of them I didn't have like one person show up. So and that's happened to me in the past, so
it's definitely hit and miss. But that's why bringing it back around to social media is so great, because nobody knows how many people showed up to your open house. When you're posting things on social media, you're saying, I'm out here working, come on down. This is going to be great. Look at this house. Isn't it amazing? Blah, blah, blah. And you're just saying that you're out there. You're just showing that you're working. And if if not a single person comes, that's okay. Because how many people just viewed that? Even if it was like 10 people who viewed it, 20 people who viewed it, you are getting that out there to 10 or 20 more people that haven't seen it before, that wouldn't have known that before, that doesn't have any idea what you're doing. So you want to make sure that you're putting that out there on social media. And that's so doing an open house is never going to be a bad thing, even if not a single soul walks by, because you're getting you're putting your signage out, you're getting experience, and you're able to post it on social media. So open houses are always a really good thing to do. Let me see there's stuff in the chat. I want to make sure that we're not missing out on.
Basically, I'm saying, I forget to tell you, Brian, I also direct message. So I post for everybody on Facebook, but obviously not all of my Facebook friends are real friends, as we know. So I direct message, or I started to actually give them a call on the open house, like before the open house, like maybe in the morning, because I usually do 1 to 4. So I call my sphere of influence who is actually living in the area. Like if I just did Paso Robles this weekend. So I'm calling all the people who live in Paso Robles and Atascadero and Templeton who I know before the open house, and invite them over the phone. So, and that's been also like, they just like that extra touch, like, oh my God, you thought of me. So I think that's also even like an extra.
And that's really good too, because that tells those people in that area that you work in their area. And so reaching out, that's part of that 36 Touch program. You're going to be able to reach out to them in different ways at different times. So it helps to be able to do that when you have some reason to reach out to them, as opposed to just reaching out to say hi. You actually have a reason to say, hey, I'm doing this open house in your area, come stop by. And if if you're not available, I'd love to show it to you another time. Or if you know anyone who's thinking of moving to the area, tell them to stop by, or give them my number. I'd love to, take them out and help them with anything I can. So there are lots and lots of opportunities for lead gen during open houses. So I definitely recommend doing that. Now, as far as scheduling those open houses, I would recommend doing that on Mondays. So today, after this meeting, go on your MLS and look for what open houses or what listings are available in your area. And so you want to go on and see if there's listings that don't already have open houses scheduled, but from your brokerage, and you want to be able to ask them. And I just go on and I email like every single person who has a listing in that area that I want to do it for, because sometimes, like if it's a major fixture, maybe you don't want to do that type of open house, and maybe you do. It totally depends on what you're comfortable with and all of that. So you want to go on, see some pictures, see a little bit about it, see if it's selling, see if it's not, why is it selling, or why isn't it selling. But go on a Monday and take a look, and then reach out to the agents. I just reach out through email or text and say, hey, your house looks awesome. Congratulations on your listing. I'm available this weekend and I'd love to bring you a buyer. I'd love to host an open house for you. And it's like quick and easy like that. And then hopefully you'll be able to schedule that. Once you schedule it, if you have it scheduled on a Monday, then on Tuesday, you can set a Facebook ad to go out, because that always takes a day. You can make sure you're getting your flyers done. You have time to get them printed if you need to. You have time to reach out to a lender if you want to schedule a lender to come with you. You have time if you're doing all of this on Mondays. So keep that in mind, that today is when you should really be doing that. All right, I want to see what's happening in the chats.
Has anyone hosted an open house in an apartment building before? Is that even possible? With all like because like you need like the code for the front gate and the elevator buttons and all that stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
It's definitely, if you have like a building with, well, first of all, apartments are usually for rent. So if you're talking about like condos, townhouses, then that is, I have done that even in difficult places. Like anytime there's a guard gate or any kind of gate, that's going to be a little bit of a hindrance. And I've still had a lot of people show up to them, and I've had nobody show up to them. So it totally depends. But especially like if you do need to have an elevator or, you know, like a code for the elevator or a key fob or something like that, that is going to be a little more difficult. And you definitely want to have somebody who is like standing there ready to take, like with the key fob, ready to take people up, basically like concierge style. So that I would say is fewer and further between, but it does happen. And in that case, you absolutely can do them. You just want to make sure to have like more people there to be able to greet or to, you know, show them the house or whatever. So you can do that. It's just a matter of, you know, like making sure the logistics of it happen. All right. It is 12:23, so we're almost done. Just a few things I wanted to remind you guys about today. Well, today we have all of our group coachings, but next week is Thanksgiving. I cannot believe that's already happening. Next week is Thanksgiving, and so we will be not having mastermind or any group coachings, but we will still have all of our Ask a Coaches except for the one on Thanksgiving. So no Ask a Coach on Thanksgiving, but all the rest of the Ask a Coaches are happening, and no classes are happening. So we're not doing a weekly workshop. We're not doing coaching. We're not doing mastermind. So keep that in mind that that's going to be done. And I believe all of the team meetings are canceled for that week too. And then this week we are having our Wednesday workshop that's going to be talking about how to get leads this holiday season. So hopefully we will have that. Linnell, Kickstart, thank you for asking. So Kickstart is going to still be happening, but it's not necessarily hosted by any of the agents. So it's basically an open Zoom room. If that's how you want to go and stay accountable, go in there, keep your time on the days that you want to do it, and keep making those calls. So it is going to be available to you, but not in the same way. That week is going to look a little bit dark. So that's all I wanted to say. That didn't take very long, but anything else to close out? Any thoughts on open houses, social media? We had lots of good conversation. Final thoughts.
Do you have a workshop this week?
Mm-hmm. How to get leads this holiday season.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Wednesday at 3 in person in Porter Ranch. Brian.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm coming to you. Yeah, so actually an email should have gone out right before this. So you should see an email in your inbox with the details and to register. But we will be having that this week, and then we are not having it next week. And then after that, we're only having 2 more in December. And after that, we're going to be reevaluating to see, you know, how we liked it, what the reception of it was, all of that kind of thing. So if you like them, let us know so we can keep making more. If you're like, I'm over it, great, tell us so that I can, so that we know how to proceed, because it seems like people are liking it, but we want to make sure that we are, you know, like talking about things that people are actually interested in and want to talk more about. So we'll probably send out a survey close to middle of December, because I don't have any on the calendar for January on. So keep that in mind, that I want to know, I want some feedback from you guys coming soon.
Is there a
Maritza, thank you.
Is there a mastermind after Thanksgiving week? Because yeah. I got an email from Jodi, I think, which is what was that? I'm confused.
No, you're right. The Monday after Thanksgiving week, we are also done. So we or dark. So we are not having mastermind or coaching that Monday. And usually that's just because we have very not great attendance on that day. And so we just have decided, let's, you know, give you some time back on that day. A lot of people are still traveling or still with family or whatever. And so use that time wisely, but so we will have 2 weeks without mastermind or coaching next week. Thank you for saying that, because I totally forgot. Anything else? Final thoughts? All right, this was a good conversation, guys. Let's be thinking about how we're going to utilize social media, especially in this next you know, month where our holidays are coming and we're able to schedule some fun things and do lots of personal stuff, but you can also throw in some real estate stuff. So make sure to think about social media and how you're going to do that. And I would say, go through your calendar, talking about open houses, go through your calendar and choose the dates, the weekends that you're going to be available to do open houses. And if you're available that weekend, then look at the Monday before that and write in your calendar, time block a time to reach out to those agents to schedule an open house. So make sure that you have that on your calendar, because we are going to have holidays creep up on us, all kinds of stuff happen. And so you want to, don't lose this time. Don't lose this momentum. All right. All right. Have a great week. We'll see you in 2 weeks, and we'll see you at coaching before then. Bye guys.